Hello guys and welcome back to another video on my channel. Now today it is the January transfer window video. Now I do this every single year. You guys seem to enjoy it quite a lot. So yeah, I am back at it yet again this year. In this video, basically what I'm going to do is give you guys my thoughts on the transfer activity which I believe Luton should do in January. So let's start it off. Now, I don't think we need to bring loads of players in January. I think the squad's pretty much there. I do think we should be a lot higher in the league as where the league is currently obviously showing us at the moment. Nathan Jones has also said the same thing. I do agree with Nathan Jones. I do think we should be in those playoff places. I think there's been plenty of times this season where, you know, we should have got the 3 points. I think we should have beaten a lot more teams than we have done. I think our finishing has let us down at times. I think we've not created enough at times. I think the way we've been playing, we've been playing quite well. We've just not got the right results, you know, because we're playing well. And that's the unfortunate thing. But in terms of the actual players, I do think they're going to get better. I do think we are going to play even better football in the second half of the season. You know, you got to remember, during the summer, we made a lot of signings, you know, and it does take a while for players to gel. I think we've done quite well despite that. You know, you wouldn't notice that we've had a quite big, you know, rebuild in the summer, you know, with the current players which we've got at the club and the results which we're getting from that. So I don't think, you know, the second half of the season is going to be worse than the first half of the season. I think we're only going to get better in my eyes. The players are hopefully going to improve. You know, 9 out of 10 they do improve under Nathan Jones, and hopefully we start seeing a more gelled up team by the end of the season. But as I was saying, you know, I don't think we need to sign, you know, 5 players in the January transfer window. I don't think we need to do that at all. I do think we need to bring in 1 or 2 players, though, to help improve certain areas and just, yeah, help us climb up that championship table. Don't think we're going to go down, but for me, the only way is up. And I do think we will finish in the top 10 this season in the championship. So let's start off with the goalkeepers. Do we need to bring in a goalkeeper? No. I think Sluga and Shea are good enough, and there's question marks on whether or not Sluga is going to go or not at the end of the season. I believe he's got an extension in his contract, so we can obviously extend it by an extra year, which is a good thing. So I don't see any reason on why Shea or Sluga will leave in January. I think they're both good goalkeepers. Shea recently has been stepping up when Sluga was absent, and now he's probably not droppable at the moment, Shea, because he is performing quite well. So, yeah, as I was saying, you know, goalkeepers, I don't think we need to bring anyone in. Moving on to the right-back situation, we've got James Bree, who's currently playing there at the moment. For me, Bree is a bit of a confidence player at times. Don't get me wrong, he's had some really good games this season. But for me, he lacks, when he's not confident in a game, you can tell quite easily and nothing goes his way, and he has a poor game. But when he's on it, he's on it. But the problem is, we're not seeing that on a consistent basis, unfortunately. And he doesn't really have any competition, Bree. If you look at it, every single week, if Bree's fit, he's in the starting 11. And I think he needs competition. I do think he needs to fight for his place a little bit more. I'm not saying he's having a poor season, but I'm saying he needs a little bit of, you know, maybe a push. You know, because I think I don't like how a player is number 1 on the team sheet. I think every player needs competition, and Bree doesn't have that at the moment. And I would recall Kioso. Everyone's been talking about this. I would recall Kioso, not the fact that he's performing really well at MK Dons. That's great that he's doing really well at MK Dons, and the fans love him there. But I would call him back to help provide competition for Bree and help push Bree more. And then, obviously, of course, if Kioso gets his opportunity, that's great. Kioso doesn't just provide an attacking presence on the right side. You know, yes, Bree has the set pieces, which he can be very inconsistent on. But Kioso is very energetic down on the right-hand side. His recoveries are brilliant, Kioso. You know, he knows how to make a tackle. Also, his aerial presence in the air can be quite handy for us from set pieces. He does get a few goals from set pieces, and he has done for MK Dons this season as well. Every club Kioso's been at, he's performed well at. So I don't see why not in recalling him back. I think he deserves to be recalled back, just to give Bree some competition. If we're not going to recall Kioso back, right, then bring in someone short term, like a loan signing maybe, to provide competition for Bree, because Bree needs to be pushed a bit more in my eyes. I don't like I said, I don't like the fact that he has a guaranteed spot in the team. He needs to be pushed. And yeah, that's my thoughts on the right back situation. But I'm not, saying Bree's an awful player. He's had good games this season, but I don't think he's been consistent enough, in my opinion. The centre backs, don't think we need to improve in that department. Obviously, if there's a player out there who can improve it, then obviously let's bring him in. But I don't think it's an area which we need to strengthen, in my eyes. I think we're quite good at the back. Reece Burke, Lockyer unfortunately has been injured, Bradley's done well, and Naismith, he's been probably the player of the season for us. So don't think we need to strengthen in that centre-back scenario. Moving on to left-back, Amari Bell, he's been 50-50 this year. I thought he started the season off really well, but then he's had a few injuries, which has upset him a little bit. But overall, I don't think left-back is an area which we really need to improve on. I think it's quite a steady position. If we do get rid of Dan Potts, which I'm hoping we do in the January transfer window, then that'd be great. Potts, for me, he's been injured too often since being a Luton Town player. Every time he gets tackled, he gets injured, and I just think he's time to go now. He ain't playing. He ain't going to get in this team. He ain't good enough in my eyes. I don't think he's championship quality anymore. I think he was at the start, but I don't think he is anymore. So, yeah, I definitely think we need to say goodbye to Dan Potts during this month, because I just don't see it with him anymore. I really don't. He doesn't offer much. He normally has that aerial presence, but because he's so injury prone all the time, we just don't see his strengths anymore. Moving on to the midfield, I think pretty much midfield we're quite sorted. Apart from the one player which I would bring in, I would bring in a player in that midfield. I think at times we lack that creativity, especially without Clark or Luke Berry. Without those two players, we struggle. We say his name all the time, Dewsbury Hall. We kind of are missing a player like him, in the team. And if we can find a player like him, then that's great. I don't think we're going to get him on loan. I think he's getting into that Leicester team now quite frequently. He's getting in it in Europe. He's started in the Premier League now, so I don't think we are going to get Dewsbury Hall for the second half of the season. I think he's in that Leicester team now quite easily now. So yeah, we need to find someone like him in the midfield, someone who can unlock defences. Clark and Berry, like I said, do that quite well, but if they get injured or if they get suspended, then we're going to need someone else. We're going to need backup. We've had a few injuries. We have been hit by injuries this season. So yeah, I do think we should look into getting one midfielder in this January transfer window. It can be a loan or just someone in. We need to bring someone who's got that bit of creativity about them. Moving on to the wide players. I think we're sorted with the wide players. We've got Cornick, Musway, Mendes Gomez. I don't, and also we're not really playing with wide players that often. Onyedinma as well. I don't think we need to improve in that department. The likes of Musway, the likes of and Mendes Gomez, they haven't really played that much football, week in, week out. Onyedinma's been injured as well. So, yeah, with terms of the wide players, I think we don't really need to improve on, they need more game time, really, to show us what they are all about. But what I've seen from some of the players, it's been really good. Cornick's having a much better season. Onyedinma's looking good when he comes on. Musway looks good in spells. Mendes Gomez hasn't really had that game time. So, yeah, wide players, I don't really think we need to really look into in the January transfer window. And then looking at the strikers, Adebayo's obviously performing really well. And yeah, he's being linked to go to Newcastle. Like Nathan Jones said, Newcastle would have to offer us silly money for us to let him go. They have the money in the world, so they can offer us silly money. And if they do, then we're going to have to accept it, unfortunately. I don't want Adebayo to go. But if you think about it, if they give us 15 million, we're kind of going to have to say yes to that. 15 million to Luton Town is quite a lot of money, and it does give us a lot of money to spend on a new striker. We managed to get Adebayo for less than $500,000. So we made, going to be over £14 million profit on him. That's great. What great scouting and what great recruitment by us. But unfortunately, if he does go, he goes. And we have to accept that and wish him all the best. But like Nathan Jones said, they have to offer us silly money. But talking about Adebayo, he doesn't have any competition. I don't think Hilton, I don't think Jerome's doing it. Jerome has been quite disappointing, to be fair. I understood why we brought him in, just to provide competition and also, you know, help the likes of Adebayo, like, improve as a player. But unfortunately, when Jerome is playing, he hasn't really been offering anything. Hilton comes on in spells. You know, he's got his goal against Bristol City. But apart from that, there's nothing. The strikers are not really, you know, there's not really much competition up top. And yeah, Cornick can play up top as well, depending on what system we play. But I would also bring in another striker, you know, just to provide that quality, that competition, just in case Adebayo gets injured. Because if Adebayo gets a really bad injury and is out for the second half of the season, we're going to be struggling. We are going to struggle because I can't see the likes of Jerome or Hilton hitting 10 goals a season, unfortunately, in the Championship. So yeah, we're going to need to bring in another striker in my eyes. So overall, we need to bring in 1 or 2 players in. Like I said, 1 player for the midfield and 1 player for, you know, in the striker department. And then I would also recall the likes of Kioso back into the side and then get rid of the likes of maybe Dan Potts. And if Hilton, I would actually probably line out Hilton. I think Hilton's time's up now. And then obviously Jerome, I can't see him, depending on how many years he signed as a contract, I can't see him staying next season. So yeah, I definitely think we need to just bring 1 or 2 players in the January transfer window, and then obviously get rid of a couple who are just not getting any game time. But apart from that, we're looking quite good for the second half of the season in my eyes. You know, we've got a couple of young, hungry players who are doing well. Obviously, a few of our youngsters are probably going to go out on loan in the second half of the season, like Dion Pereira as well. So yeah, I'm very excited to see what we can do in the January transfer window. But like I said, like, although I've said, oh, we probably don't need a goalkeeper or we don't need a centre half, you know, if there's players out there that are going to guarantee us and, well, guarantee to improve us, then bring them in. Like, if we find a better Bradley out there, then bring him in. If we find a better Sluga, bring him in. That's all you got to do, really. You have to constantly improve. Yes, we don't want to see, you know, certain favourites like dropped, but you know, football is a results game, and if the players are out there, then you've got to bring them in. But yeah, guys, that is my overall thoughts and opinions on, you know, Luton's, what I believe Luton should do during the January transfer window. Let me know down in the comment section of this video the players that you would bring in the January transfer window. What areas, what positions do you think we need to strengthen in? Let me know down in the comment section of this video. Drop a like on the video if you did enjoy it. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. And guys, I will see you in the next video.